Welcome to Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner. Before we dive into this matter, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this gist, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of these hot Nollywood stories that are shaking timelines. Today, we are talking about a love story that has had social media buzzing, a story layered with patience, loyalty, and emotional depth. It is the story of Maurice Sam and Pearl Watt, two names that have been connected in whispers, speculation, and a decade of shared history. Now, if you've been scrolling through comments, fan pages, and late-night debates online, you would know that the biggest question right now isn't about cheating, drama, or scandal. It's about time, clarity, and emotional investment. Fans everywhere are asking, after 10 years of connection, after countless moments of showing up for each other, does love between Maurice Sam and Pearl Watt risk heartbreak simply because answers haven't been given? Fans are convinced that this is not a short-term fling or a recent spark. No, this is a story allegedly spanning close to a decade. 10 years of being present in each other's lives, 10 years of emotional familiarity, 10 years of witnessing highs, lows, successes, failures, and growth. If even half of that timeline is accurate, this is not ordinary. This is a deep connection built over years, a connection that comes with expectations, emotional responsibility, and sometimes, unbearable weight. Throughout these years, Pearl Watt has reportedly been there in ways many people can relate to. There were times when life felt heavy for her, when everything seemed to be going wrong, and Maurice Sam was there. He listened, supported, encouraged, and celebrated her victories. This isn't the kind of support that strangers give or even casual friends offer. This is shared history, emotional safety, and loyalty wrapped into one. Fans have noticed patterns, too. Every time Maurice Sam releases a movie or steps into the public eye, Pearl is there, promoting, applauding, showing pride, traveling to events, being more vocal about his work than even some people in the industry. She carries his project on her shoulders and in her presence. Yet, according to social media chatter, that energy hasn't always been equally returned toward her endeavors. And it is this imbalance, people say, that starts quietly shaping questions. Now, here's where the discussion really begins. We're diving into a point many women know too well, the moment when love has been patient for years, and clarity is nowhere in sight. Fans believe that Pearl reached a place of honesty, not anger, not despair, but calm questioning. The moment when you finally ask, where is this really going? That question is dangerous in a long-term connection because it removes comfort. It forces a reality check. It forces truth. And in relationships that have existed for years, the stakes are higher. When love is new, waiting feels romantic. Uncertainty feels temporary. Hope feels endless. But after years of consistent emotional investment, waiting can start feeling like standing still. And for Pearl Watt, fans believe that patience, support, and loyalty had turned into quiet fatigue. She wasn't asking for lavish gestures or sudden life-changing commitments. She was asking for direction, clarity, affirmation that she was seeing in the future Maurice Sam envisioned. She was asking for something simple in theory but monumental in meaning, a confirmation that her heart and time were not misplaced. Social media fans say Maurice Sam's response wasn't cruel. He wasn't dismissive. He didn't insult or withdraw violently. But he also didn't reassure. He didn't provide a yes, a promise, a timeline, or a vision. He maintained caution, boundaries, emotional distance, and personal space. And for Pearl, that silence was louder than any rejection. Because after 10 years, every day spent without clear affirmation weighs heavier than it ever would have in the beginning. Now let's pause for a moment. 10 years is not small. 10 years is memories, growth, watching someone evolve into their fullest self, and being present for their journey. 10 years is shared pain, laughter, success, failures, and all the tiny moments that build intimacy. When love stretches across that kind of timeline without clarity, it begins to hurt. Fans across social media are saying this story trended not because of celebrity status but because it reflects real life. Women, in particular, resonated with it immediately. Women who stayed, women who waited, women who believed in potential only to eventually face the question, am I still waiting, or am I stuck? And this is where the first discussion point emerges. The impact of time on love and emotional investment. Social media has debated endlessly, is there a limit to patience in love? Can a relationship survive 10 years of emotional closeness without clear direction? When does waiting cross into emotional fatigue? This story highlights that emotional investment, even without betrayal or wrongdoing, creates expectations. These expectations aren't always spoken, but they exist. They are embedded in loyalty, consistency, and the history two people share. Fans argue that Pearl's emotional fatigue was inevitable. Waiting for years without answers isn't romantic, it is exhausting. It drains hope, energy, and sometimes even love itself. You don't stop caring. You don't stop loving. You just start feeling tired of guessing, tired of hoping, tired of seeing boundaries where there should be affirmation. 10 years in, fans believe Pearl wasn't asking for extravagant proof of love, she was asking for acknowledgement of what they had built together, a promise that her devotion wasn't invisible. The second discussion point comes into view when we consider communication versus caution. Maurice Sam is reportedly someone who values emotional readiness, personal peace, and not being rushed. That is a valid stance. Many people argue that caution is necessary to protect oneself and to avoid emotional mistakes. But when one partner has been consistently patient, supportive, and loyal for years, caution without direction can feel like neglect. Fans are debating, is it fair for someone to wait indefinitely while the other remains emotionally cautious? When does taking your time cross the line into emotional avoidance? Maurice Sam may not have done anything wrong, but silence and hesitation in long-term love can create an emotional imbalance where one person feels invisible. Fans also point out patterns that, in hindsight, feel like warnings. There were milestones passed without public affirmation. There were achievements celebrated by Pearl but not reciprocated in the same public way. There was emotional distance where connection should have been strongest. Observers say these moments were signals all along, but they were ignored in the hope that the story would naturally find direction. And now, after 10 years, fans feel that Pearl's question has shaken the foundation because it forces honesty. It forces reality. It forces answers. And this is why social media is split. Some say that Pearl has every right to ask for clarity. She invested 10 years of emotional labor, time, loyalty, and support. She deserves a direction, commitment, or at least verbal acknowledgement of her place in the future. Others say that Maurice Sam's caution is understandable. People move at their own pace. Emotional readiness cannot be rushed. And both sides have valid points, making this one of Nollywood's most discussed and relatable stories in recent memory. Fans analyzing their social media interactions, appearances, and public comments have also noticed subtle changes in Pearl's energy. She seems quieter now, more reflective, less hopeful, and emotionally fatigued. This isn't dramatic sadness for cameras, it is the quiet exhaustion of loving without certainty, the type of fatigue that slowly creeps in when questions remain unanswered for years. Social media users are connecting the dots. If love is consistent but direction is missing, the one waiting silently carries the weight. And that weight, after a decade, becomes heartbreak in disguise. Fans also argue that even if Maurice Sam has expressed love recently, it may have come due to public scrutiny or pressure rather than genuine clarity. And that raises another debate point: why did it take so long for explicit affirmation? What does it say about the emotional balance in a relationship where one partner consistently shows up and the other remains cautious or silent? These questions have driven timelines, comment sections, and fan theories for weeks. And yet, the story is far from simple. Love exists here, fans agree. The emotional bond, care, and loyalty are real. The problem is time. Time demands answers. Time forces choices. And when answers don't come, even the deepest love can become a source of pain. Fans say this is a story many women see in themselves: long-term patience without clarity, loyalty without reassurance, support without reciprocation. And they are asking themselves the same question Pearl allegedly did: am I still waiting, or am I stuck? Social media debates also extend into life lessons. Many fans reflect on the broader truth, ask questions early. Don't wait endlessly for signs that may never come. Love without direction eventually becomes pain. Time is an investment, and every investment deserves a return. These lessons have resonated widely, making the Maurice Sam and Paul Watts story more than celebrity gossip. It's a mirror for everyday life relationships. Even within Nollywood circles, observers note that long-standing emotional connections can be as complex off-screen as they are in films. Maurice Sam and Paul Watts are not just actors. Their story, as fans interpret it, reflects real human emotions, patience, and heartbreak. The conversation isn't about scandals or betrayals, it is about emotional reality, expectations, patience, and the human need for clarity after years of investment. So, fans continue debating. If you were in a relationship for 10 years and still had no direction, would you keep waiting or walk away? Is emotional loyalty without reciprocation still love, or is it self-deception? Can one person's caution destroy a decade of shared experiences, or is there a way for love and patience to coexist when clarity is missing? These questions are flooding timelines, comment sections, and conversations late into the night. And here's the truth fans are grappling with. The story may not need villains. Pearl isn't wrong for asking questions after years of investment. Maurice Sam isn't wrong for taking his time or valuing emotional readiness. But when one person seeks clarity and the other avoids providing it, heartbreak is often inevitable. The story stands at a crossroads, and silence may decide which path it takes. One road leads to clarity, commitment, and potential reconciliation. The other road leads to heartbreak, quiet endings, and lessons learned the hard way. For everyone watching, the story of Maurice Sam and Paul Watts teaches us something crucial. Long-term relationships require communication, honesty, and mutual understanding. Emotional investment is powerful, but time amplifies both love and pain. When clarity is missing, patience becomes a burden rather than a virtue. And for women who have waited years, the question, "Am I still chosen?" resonates deeply. Social media discussions suggest that many relate, not because of celebrity drama, but because these are human experiences we all face in some form. So let me ask you again, as Everyday Gist TV, after 10 years, if love is consistent but direction is missing, what would you do? Wait endlessly, hoping for clarity, or make the painful choice to walk away? Fans, women, men, Nollywood lovers, and everyday viewers are weighing in, sharing stories of their own decade-long emotional investments, and the discussion is growing louder by the day. Before we end, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this gist, and share it with friends who need to hear this discussion. This story isn't just gossip, it's a lesson in love, patience, and the quiet heartbreak that time can bring. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us, would you wait for 10 years for answers, or is it time to move on? Let the conversation flow, because love, loyalty, and clarity deserve to be discussed openly. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss updates like this, because at Gist Dish TV, we bring you the real-life relationship stories that reflect what many of us experience silently. And finally, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner, where love, heartbreak, and Nollywood drama intersect in ways that make you stop, think, and maybe even cry a little. Stay tuned, because the Maurice Sam and Paul Watts story is far from over, and the next chapter may change everything.